Feed the Nine. That statement has become more and more popular in our society. Right now, there are roughly 7 billion people in the world. By the year 2050, so roughly 30 years from now, the world population is expected to be 9 billion people. Within the next 30 years, my generation of farmers, chemists, horticulturalists, biologists, and many other careers will have to be able to have a solution for feeding the growing population. As of now, we do have a solution for this problem, and the answer to that is GMOs, more commonly known as genetically modified organisms. We, as agriculturalists, know how and why these modifications work. On the other hand, the public is unaware and fights the process. Being involved in agriculture my whole life, I understand the benefits as to why we need genetically modified organisms, and I am able to speak with others and get them to believe and follow the thinking of GMOs with the other agriculturalists in the world. So let's begin with some background knowledge on genetically modified organisms. GMOs are organisms that have been injected full of other genetics from bacteria, viruses, insects, animals, or even humans. Because this involves the transfer of genes, GMOs are known as transgenic organisms. Different GMOs have different traits. So in my visual aid, shown here, crops can be herbicide tolerant, which means they can withstand a certain herbicide application. Insect tolerant, which means they produce a toxin to kill the pest. They are disease resistant, so they could be resistant to certain diseases, obviously. Stress tolerance, which means the crop is tolerant to stress or low nutritional value, and others. In an interview with Dr. Peter Goldsberg, the professor of botany and plant science at Purdue University, informs us that farmers worry about 3 things when they plant a field. Those 3 things are insects, weather, and weeds. His point being that GMOs have been modified to resist those certain things. For example, Roundup soybeans. These beans resist the herbicide Roundup, and in result will produce a higher yield with less weeds. And with a high yield, the farmer makes more money, and more crops are able to harvest and go towards other products and sent around the world. Next, let's take a look at one of the many reasons why GMOs are the better option versus regular yield seeds. In the United States, agriculture is a large part of our industry. We export many different crops and animals to other countries. The other countries rely on us for different crops and food products. Countries that are desperate for food and countries that are sitting well on food as well. The average United States farm, all of the farms in the United States can feed 11 billion people 2,000 calories 3 times per day because of the early stages of the GMOs. With genetically modified organisms, another benefit is that they grow faster and produce a much higher yield, meaning more food for us and the starving countries that we supply. Not only are crops modified, but animals are as well. With the growing population, we need to produce food fast and efficiently. For example, on my farm, I raise chickens that lay eggs. The average chicken will start to lay eggs at about 20 weeks old. But my birds start laying eggs at a mere 17 weeks old. These chickens have their DNA modified so they lay eggs sooner. Earlier laying age means the faster the population has eggs. Lastly, we are going to take an opportunity to look at how GMOs protect the ground we walk on and the earth we live on. As an agriculturalist, the world we live on and the ground we walk on is very important to our jobs. Think back to a time when you had to pull weeds in your flower garden or maybe your vegetable garden. Terrible? I know. Imagine doing that to a 100-acre field. It's impossible. Oh shoot! It's impossible. By using modified crops, we can spray Roundup or other herbicides without killing the crops. According to the Council of Biotechnology, they tell us that up to 50,000 square kilometers of topsoil, which is approximately the size of Costa Rica, is lost every year, mainly due to wind and water erosion. By using herbicide-tolerant crops, farmers don't need to till the soil to remove weeds, or so the soil retains its structure and the erosion is reduced. Without the topsoil, we can't plant anything at all. Not only will the other countries we supply go hungry, but we will too. In this picture shown, this is a potato that has been modified versus the potato that is conventional or hasn't been modified. When you cut the conventional potato open, it obviously turns brown right away. This has been modified to where when it gets cut, it doesn't turn brown for quite some time, and same thing with the apple. So, in conclusion, we are a growing population that needs food. We need to eat and wear clothes. Without GMOs, the world would be naked and hungry. So next time you begin to think that GMOs are bad, think where you'd be today without them. You'd be in a crowded world, naked and hungry. Thank you.